So I wanted to demonstrate how I tapped this particular propeller straight. The third blade that I compared was a little bit out, and it needed to be tapped down. So what I wanted to do was just show you how I did it. Anybody attempting to straighten their own propeller should know how to, would know how to do it, but I just wanted to give you a quick demonstration on how I did it. So what I did was I set up some pine on my bench here, and all I did was just line it up with the edges like that. I used a couple of clamps to hold it into position. Very, very simple. I just put the clamps into position here just to secure these pine blocks to the bench. Now, I obviously tightened up a hell of a lot tighter than that, but just for now, just to show you. And what I had to do was I had to tap it down that way. So I had to tap it. Yep, I had to tap it down that way like that. So obviously, yeah, those blades were out that way. So essentially, what I would use is the edge of these pine pieces of wood here to lean the blade up against, and then tap it in place. And I thought I'd use the pine rather than using, two hammers, because I mean it was this whole portion of the blade here needed to be adjusted. I mean it would be very, very difficult with two hammers. But I figure if I use pine, the pine's got a little bit of give in it. You can actually see where it's compressed and where the edges have kind of rounded a bit. So I thought that would be a really good way to not damage the propeller, but still give it enough support so that when I am, tapping it into position or using certain spots of the punch, tapping into position, it still gives it enough support, and then allows it to bend, but doesn't, damage the inside of the prop or the blade of the prop. And what I just wanted to stress also was, when doing it, I had to, as I said, do a whole portion of this, and I had to move by about 4 or 5 mil, and it took some time. I didn't want to try and just belt it so that it all moved at once. I did it gradually, and I did the whole lot smoothly and gradually, so that way I could try and keep that uniform edge. And I had 1 or 2 hits that went the wrong way. If that was the case, I'd just turn it back over and just find a nice little portion here where I could just tap it down straight. Another method that you can use if you've got small dings, or what I found to be effective, was while on the trailer, or while the prop's on the boat, on the trailer, I also have in the past used a shifter. There was a particular portion in this part of the blade here where I can't get a hammer behind. You just can't swing a hammer behind that spot. So how am I going to bend that straight to make it nice and uniform? The way I did it was I used the shifter. So what I would do is I'd get the shifter, put it on that portion of the blade. I'd adjust the shifter accordingly, put it on that portion of the blade. So if it was there, and I'd just get it to the point and just give it a bit of a yank and check it out. Do it again and just do it slowly. And that way I could only bend, because it was a very, very small ding, and I don't know how I did it, but that way it would only bend that portion without having to affect the whole blade. So by using a simple shifter, a couple of bits of wood, clamp it to a desk or to your bench, and just a nice ball hammer, I was able to get that blade almost perfectly, well, from what I think anyway, probably about 95% symmetrical, or 95% the right shape. So now, again, lastly, when I compare each blade with my little template that I made, I'm very, very confident that this particular blade now is at least, almost there in terms of the right shape. I will balance it, and that'll be a fairly simple process. So I think I just want to make a balancer. I talked about that in another video that I made when I talked about the template. So I'll make that balancer. I will balance it. I'll show you how I do that, and hopefully we can work out if all the blades are the same in terms of their weight. So you simply set it on the balancer, and if I'm concentrating on this particular blade here, if it falls that way or if it falls the other way, you know that and it ends up resting like this underneath, well, you know that particular blade is heavy, so you kind of grind off a little bit of material carefully and slowly. Try again and then see how it sits. I'll talk about balancing the prop in another video. So hopefully that was a little bit useful. Hopefully that was helpful and useful, and I think hopefully anyone attempting to straighten a prop finds this to be a really easy way of being able to make sure each blade is the same, and by making sure that you can use any method, honestly, to straighten. I mean, I've even used out up at the lake where we are. There's tree stumps all over the place. I've even taken it up to a tree stump and tapped it straight like that. That's a makeshift, obviously. That was just to get me through the weekend. Getting it home, I've got a couple more tools. I mean, not that I need many, but it's a bit easier to work in your own shed. And thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you found it helpful.